Ebert singing the #1 song on the charts right now from his new movie Purple Rain. And Prince's movie debut is one of the things we're going to be discussing this week on At the Movies, the movie review program. Joining me here in the balcony is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And this is Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. In addition to Purple Rain, we'll also be taking a look at a new family drama from Australia called Careful He Might Hear You. Also, Ingmar Bergman's latest film about a director and 2 actresses. And we'll also take a closer look at the rock star Prince in our special X-ray segment at the end of the show. But first, Roger begins with a science fiction adventure film called The Philadelphia Experiment.
And you know, this Philadelphia experiment is one of those things that I've heard about for 10 years, that the Navy made some ship disappear in Philadelphia, just like there are alligators in the sewers, you know,
Right.
And the guy that...
Urban legends.
Urban legends. This is kind of a naval yard legend. The Philadelphia Experiment is a time travel movie which starts out in 1943 when the U.S. Navy conducts an experiment that causes a battleship to completely disappear from the Philadelphia Navy Yard. The ship falls into a mysterious time warp, and a couple of the sailors jump overboard into the warp trying to escape, and they end up in Nevada 41 years later, just as the same scientist from that 1943 episode, he's a little balder now, a little more wrinkled, has conducted another time travel experiment that has caused this time a whole town to disappear. So he's making progress, but in the wrong direction. In this scene, the sailors try to figure out what happened.
What's the date?
Date, it's the 17th.
The year?
You kidding? It's 1984. What's going on with you two? Are you on drugs or something?
1984. What about the war?
What war?
The war!
Vietnam?
World War II, Germany and Japan.
What about it?
Who won?
We won. What do you think?
Well, that's great, but unfortunately, those sailors are still connected to the past through the time warp and the radioactive molecules in their bodies. And one sailor is zapped right into thin air.
Come on, let's get that in here. Clear for the back door coming in.
Bamboo bag coming in. Don't let it demonstrating.
Try and restrain him so he doesn't hurt himself.
What the hell's going on here?
Get back, get back, get back.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't leave much for the autopsy, does it?
There's so much wrong with that scene. The reaction shots of those guys looking like this. Someone just disappeared in front of them.
Oh, my
They
hand,
should
my
be
hand.
going like this.
And meanwhile, lightning bolts are going through the room, and nobody notices them because the lightning bolts were put in with special effects later after the scene was filmed. That was Michael Pare is the surviving sailor there with this strange hand that's going to glow in a second. And Nancy Allen is the girl who is the only person to believe his story. Well, time warp movies always confuse me because I'm sitting there thinking, if she's 41 years in his future, then if he goes back in time, what does he do? Grow old and wait for her and then come along and say, would you mind marrying a man that's 41 years older than you are, but we used to be contemporaries? Or what if she goes back in time with him? Does that mean that she was never born in the first place? Well, questions like that are just a little too subtle for the Philadelphia Experiment, which turns Pare into a human cannonball and catapults him into the middle of the time vortex, hoping that he can find the missing battleship somewhere there in the middle of hyperspace, turn off the generators, and stop that 1943 experiment. And of course, since this is 1984, we know that he did.
Right.
This movie does a little time traveling of its own. It feels exactly like a low-budget 1953 science fiction movie that fell into a vortex at the box office and turned up years later, out of date and very confused. The movie is saying, what year is this? Who won the Oscar?
How are movies made? That's what the director is saying. How do you make a good movie?
This is amazing.
It is a shockingly bad film. And let's start right at the beginning where, I was laughing when this happened. The experiment goes wrong, right, within the context of the movie, because they make the ship disappear. They're only trying to make it invisible to the German radar. Why doesn't somebody immediately say, hey, we've got a fabulous weapon here. We can make our ships disappear. Let's aim it at the German
And
ship.
make all of their ships disappear.
War is over.
Okay, I'll give you my favorite moment. The guy is standing on the deck of the battleship in the middle of the time vortex, right? He has turned off the generators. You got all of this electricity going around. He takes off the helmet of his spacesuit, throws it away, and then says, I'm going back to meet that girl, and jumps back into the vortex. Now, if I were going to jump back into the vortex, I think I'd leave my helmet on.
And then the reaction shot of the two horses.
Oh, that was...
In the during a love scene.
Boy and girl kiss, and the two horses go...
Horrible film, a cult possibility. Coming up next at the movies, one of the nation's leading rock stars makes his feature film debut.
The trouble with the average bargain trash bag is that what goes in doesn't always stay in. Now this is the Glad 3-ply trash bag, the strong Glad 3-ply trash bag, made of Stress Flex plastic. So advanced, so strong, it really fights punctures because it stretches and stretches instead of breaking. The Glad 3-ply, made of Stress Flex. After all, what goes in ought to stay in.
Honey, do these socks go with this shirt?
Oh, static cling again.
Get the only lemon-freshened detergent for a clean that breaks the static barrier. Fab with full-strength fabric softener.
Full-strength fabric softener plus full-strength detergent in Fab? Fabulous.
No more staticky socks.
I'm really clean.
And feel how soft.
Lemony fresh, too.
Get a clean that breaks the static barrier.
Oh, Fab, we're glad there's full-strength fabric softener in you.
I love children. Anybody who's going to run a nursery school for 26 years and better. Lately, though, my arthritis... Just... When plain patty cake gets to be painful, it's time for Anacin.
Regular strength pain relievers stop at 650 milligrams, but Anacin gives you more medicine for temporary relief of minor arthritis pain. 800 milligrams.
Arthritis isn't about to come between me and my children.
Anacin. More medicine.
For getting Monday's spaghetti sauce out of Wednesday's laundry, Janet Fox, you've earned your stripes. For taking that ink spot and writing it off, Barbara Ford, you've earned your stripes. And so has Clorox Pre-Wash. No pre-wash works harder to break a stain's grip on fabric and pull it out in the wash than the one that's earned the name Clorox. A name that means clean. In the fight against stains, earn your stripes with Clorox Pre-Wash.
Purple Rain is an exciting new film representing the film debut of the rock star Prince, who hasn't achieved the same level of public recognition as, say, Michael Jackson, but the same talent is there, that's for sure. Prince just plays outside of the pop musical mainstream. He's more of a hard rocker mixed with blues and jazz influences. And in Purple Rain, Prince plays a character pretty much like himself, a young musician from Minneapolis who is cut off from everything in his life except his music. But then a beautiful young woman walks into his life, and he romances her while she asks him to help her with her career.
Will you help me?
Nope.
Pardon me?
Nope. Want to know why?
Nope.
Because you wouldn't pass the initiation.
What initiation?
Well, for starters, you have to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
What?
You have to purify yourself in Lake Minnetonka.
That's not Lake Minnetonka, is what he wanted to tell her. A little game being played there. Apollonia Cotero is her name, and she's as impressive in this film as he is. Purple Rain is about their relationship, and there's a terrific love triangle in this film between the two of them and another male musician, a very hip character played by another real-life rock performer, Morris Day, and I think he's an excellent actor, and I'd like to see him do another movie sometime. And all the while, Prince performs his music in a local club, music that has a lot to do with pain and self-discovery.
I never really called you when you borrowed. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
And when he works out with his guitar, you can see a lot of Jimi Hendrix in his work. And his performances don't come across as just mindless music videos in this film. They work dramatically within this movie, a story of a young kid who expresses his rage and confusion artistically. And some of his rage has to do with his family background, which includes a father who's a wife beater. I thoroughly enjoyed Purple Rain. A lot of fresh, young talent in this film. Very good.
I thought it was the best rock film since Pink Floyd The Wall. I thought it was really good. I thought Prince was good. Apollonia Cotero, I'm only a human being. Can I be human for a second? I thought she was electrifying. I thought that their scenes together were the most erotic love scenes that I've seen in a movie in a long time. I thought she was good on stage. His music is good. The photography is good. The way that they balance that fantastic stage presence with those intense little vignettes that push the story ahead, each one not too long, makes it into a really interesting movie.
I think this film, I'll go even a little further, I think this film ought to be studied for the way it uses music dramatically. In other words, there has been this whole thing of these little insert music videos, which are mindless. They just snapshots, and you just throw them in the middle of the film, and everyone sort of gives up and doesn't try. This film is very sophisticated in the way it has these, there's no dialogue. They are music videos, I suppose, by definition, but they move the story along. They're adding new information about his family background, about his little secret lair, his little hideout, the way that's introduced non-verbally. He doesn't say, I have this little hideout, I want to take you to it.
But there it is.
It's done there, and it's very, very well directed.
One of the best combinations I've ever seen of rock music and dramatic information. And we're going to get back to Prince and our X-ray at the end of the show. But coming up right next at the movies, a little boy is trapped between love and money.
I have my own.
What's going on? Why is he shut out in the hall?
Hello, George.
We don't ever.
See this AM/FM walkabout? We're sending one just like it, free, to people who've already responded to a very special offer. And now we're going to make that same offer to you. So watch closely. Then I'll be back to help you get your free walkabout.
When you read Time each week, you know more. You understand.
Time flies, and you are there. Time cries and lets you care. You understand the world we share. Yes, time brings you closer to living. Time puts events in sharp review. Time brings it all right home to you.
Each week, Time magazine takes you beyond the news to help you make sense of it all. And now you can get Time for almost half off the cover price. Call 1-800-525-4400 and get 27 issues of Time with all the important stories of 1984, including Time's special coverage of the upcoming presidential election. And you can have it all for just 89 cents an issue, payable in 3 easy installments of $7.97. We'll also send you this free with your paid subscription, the Time AM/FM Walkabout. It has state-of-the-art circuitry for clear reception and full, rich sound. It weighs just ounces and has padded adjustable headphones. So call now, 1-800-525-4400. There's never been a better time to get Time.
Throughout your world, throughout your land, time puts it all right in your hand. Read time and understand.
Next at the movies, a special X-ray segment about Prince, who was great, we already said so, in Purple Rain. But how does his future look compared to other rock and pop movie actors like Jagger, Bowie, and Christopherson?
Okay, what's so great about summer?
It's hot, she's not. Definitely Doritos high five. Hands high, definitely Doritos. Doritos. Move fast, smooth beat, heartbeat, definitely. Right now,
nacho cheese Doritos brand tortilla chips.
Definitely.
I did it.
I did it. We did it. We did it. We joined together. The personal dating service.
Well, why not? We were tired of the bar scene. And together, they don't use computers, videotapes, or any other gimmicks.
And it seemed like a great way to meet compatible people.
It sure was.
Call 561-3283 or 850-4340 for more information.
In complex times like these, the call to guard America's skies can come at dawn, or noon, or in the dark of night. It can come from around the corner, or halfway around the world. The men and women of the Air National Guard stand ready to answer that call with planes, first-rate skills, and the latest technology. You could be one of them for just 2 days a month and 15 days a year of your time. The Air National Guard. Because planes don't guard America's skies. People like you do.
We guard America's skies.
Today's X-ray subject, Prince. We've already said that Prince is very good in his movie debut in Purple Rain, but what kind of a movie career can he look forward to? You can make a whole list of singers who became movie stars, from Crosby and Sinatra to Jagger, Bowie, and Christopherson, and at one point or another, they've all had to decide what comes first, singing or acting. Mick Jagger tried serious acting for the first time in the 1970 movie Performance, where he played a criminal outcast. David Bowie did the usual concert films, but he also played serious roles, like his prisoner of war in Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Chris Christopherson is probably the most successful of the modern actor-singers. Here he is in 1976's A Star is Born. And now, what about Prince? Purple Rain is a skillful, exciting, personal film, but can he play other roles, other kinds of people? I think he can. I think he has the stuff. I thought he was very strong in the movie's dramatic scenes. He was willing to take chances. I mean, how many big rock stars would play a character who still lives at home? And yet, it worked.
I think he's very good, too. And I think basically what we're doing in this X-ray is just saying to this guy, do more. I read in his press notices that he may want to direct his next picture, and I'd say, wait. Give us another performance before he's tried directing. Let's recap our reactions to the films in the show. Both Roger and I hated the sci-fi film The Philadelphia Experiment, 2 downturned thumbs, 2 thumbs up for Purple Rain, featuring Prince, and 2 negative votes for Careful He Might Hear You, the Australian family drama, and we split on Ingmar Bergman's film After the Rehearsal.
So that's it for this week. Next week, a special show on movies that change the movies. And until then, we'll see you at the movies.
Pan American, whether it's business or pleasure or a little bit of both, across the country and around the world, Pan Am, you can't beat the experience. Raisinets, plump, juicy raisins covered with delicious milk chocolate. Enjoy America's favorite movie time candy at home or at the movies. Goobers and Snowcaps, too. Soft Scents Skin Lotion. When the summer sun, wind, and heat dry your skin, Soft Scents restores softness without stickiness. Join Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel next week when they look at the top 10 video cassette rentals.
Whenever I visit Inner Harbor, I can't help but notice people's pride in our city's growth. And those little surprises make Baltimore one of a kind. It's a tradition of teamwork and dedication, a unique spirit that built this city into a great place to call home. And each night, we try to capture that same spirit on Eyewitness News.
Jerry Turner and Eyewitness News, in touch with Baltimore. And that's a good feeling to know.
Hello, I'm Councilwoman Agnes Welch.
inviting you to join me at a national conference entitled 1985 and Beyond, featuring activist Angela Davis. Issues confronting women of African ancestry highlight this 3-day conference, beginning Thursday, August 9th through Saturday, August 11th. Call 444-3282. Come plan your agenda for 85. Call 444-3282.
Come to the Waxter Center's annual Crab Feast Festival, August 23rd, benefiting the volunteer services. Call 396-1328 for more information. Women's Self-Defense Class, Monday at 10.
How can Prince sing and not talk?
Has Hollywood moved to the mountains?
What keeps the go-go going in the Go-Go's?
Would Superman have been a smash in 19th century Boston?
How's life away from Howard?
Who are the heavy metal heavyweights?
Entertainment This Week hits all the right notes for the first weekend of August, 1984.
I don't kiss and tell.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dixie Watley.
And I'm Alan Arthur. Of course, the Olympic Games are the big story this week, but not the only story. We've got you covered for show business, movies, television, the theater, and rock and roll.
The rock and roll event of the week, Purple Rain. The #1 movie in the country, the #1 record in the country. The Prince has become king. Not only has he arrived, but like the best Olympic athletes, Prince has struck gold. His first feature film, Purple Rain, opened last week, taking the #1 box office slot from Ghostbusters. And the soundtrack album is equally successful, #1 on both the pop and R&B charts. And adding more gold to the pot is his single, When Doves Cry. It's also high on the pop, R&B, and dance charts. Not bad for a 24-year-old singer from Minneapolis who only a few years ago was booed off stage when he was the opening act for the Rolling Stones. Prince is so secretive, he's turned down every interview request in the last 2 years. And recently, with the success of his first film, those requests have been many. Last week alone, he turned down Time, Life, Vanity Fair, and Esquire magazine. And last year, after being offered $10,000, he posed for the cover of Rolling Stone, but still refused an interview.
He's a very private person. I always tease that he's a verbally conservative gentleman. He's just private.
Patricia Apollonia Cotero, now known as Apollonia, was chosen to co-star in the film after a nationwide search to replace lead singer Vanity of Vanity 6, who left the project.
What do you mean?
Making it.
It's all I dream about.
I feel very, very lucky, very blessed, that it was, the old cliche, the right time at the right place. Someone up there, making sure that I was available, not working, not sick. I made it, and I'm happy. Thanks to Prince.
And thanks to Prince, Morris Day, a high school friend and lead singer of the R&B group The Time, made his acting debut, but not without reservations.
I felt uncomfortable because you got this camera staring you in the face, and you got all these people around, and they're checking your clothes, and they're messing with you, and they're looking at you, and you're trying to do your best and come across well.
The password is okay, as far as I'm concerned. Damn it, say the password. What? Say the password, onion head. The password is what?
Prince isn't giving any clues as to whether or not the movie is his life story, or if there is an off-screen romance with his leading lady.
I don't kiss and tell, but watch the movie.
But fans are hoping Purple Rain will provide some insight into a performer about whom very little is known.
Lots of other news happening this week. Here's a quick picture review, day by day.
Monday, E.T. covers the Olympic fever sweeping Los Angeles. And Jackson fever sweeps New York.
Everybody!
paid $500 for 4 seats?
$510 for 4 seats.
You've heard as high as $1,000?
Yeah.
From who?
From a girlfriend of mine.
Did she pay it?
Nah, she's up there now. If she had paid it, she'd be here.
Tuesday, ET surveys daytime soaps, finds them heating up to compete with the Olympics.
I think given a choice between sports programming and spending time with their friends, I think they'll spend time with their friends.
The Olympic Games attract big audiences in the U.S. and overseas as well.
Guten Abend, daheim in Deutschland. In Los Angeles hat ein...
And how is the international Olympic coverage going?
Considering the size and scale and complexity of the operation, very well indeed.
Wednesday, ET covers the ad blitz seeking votes on the eve of Emmy nomination day.
I would take an ad out if I was involved in a project that really I had a chance to do some good work in, that was an interesting part and had achieved some nice reviews from the critics and the audience responded to it. I would remind the people who were voting about it.
And in Washington, D.C., a congressional subcommittee is told that the networks won and the colleges lost in the Supreme Court decision to deregulate TV football coverage.
There's less money now available than would have been if the existing plan stayed in place, and fewer schools participate in that small amount of money.
Thursday, E.T. checks out a familiar face who just may become America's next popcorn czar.
Our popcorn makes you smile when you are suffering dyspepsia, and it will goose your appetite when you have anorexia.
I get a genuine sense of satisfaction in seeing these products grow.
And Olympic athletes from Down Under were guests of honor at a party tossed by media magnate Rupert Murdoch. Chief topic of conversation, ABC's Olympic coverage.
Technically, it's been superb, but we have all our own commentators here. We don't take their audio, we just take their video. And I think we have a lot of our own camera crews, too.
I think the whole thing has been put together unbelievably, considering the number of people it's going to around the world. You know, it's never been done like this before.
Friday, E.T. explores the real gold that Olympic champions go for after they go for the gold at the Games.
Winning the gold medal in 1984 could be quite lucrative in terms of endorsements for athletes in certain sports.
Sports champions as role models have been a natural for Wheaties and for other products as well.
And fear of Olympic traffic congestion translates into no lines waiting for rides at Los Angeles theme parks.
There were people that were used to waiting for maybe an hour to get on some of the more popular attractions. Right now, the wait's maybe 5 minutes.
The congestion has not materialized. The pollution has not materialized. Southern California's never looked better.
And that's a quick look at the week's entertainment news in pictures.
Now to the week's entertainment headlines. Movie maker Steven Spielberg signed a contract to produce 44 half hours of TV programming for NBC. Conductor John Williams, who earlier in the year announced he was leaving the Boston Pops over creative differences, says that he's changed his mind and he's staying on. Actor Tony Danza, one of the stars of the TV series Taxi, was convicted of assault and criminal mischief in New York. The charges stem from a fight with a restaurant security guard. Sentencing is scheduled for next month. Penthouse publisher Robert Guccione feels that America has not seen enough of Vanessa Williams, Miss America #1 of 1984. The November issue will feature 10 to 15 more pages filled with nude photographs. Williams has just been signed to guest star in an episode of the new NBC series Partners in Crime, which stars Lonnie Anderson and Linda Carter. Williams will play a rock singer. And Suzette Charles, Miss America #2 of 1984, will guest star in the daytime soap Loving. Her role? A model who holds the secret to someone else's past.
And at the top of our celebrity file, Sophia Loren. Topic, a career in show business for her son.
I would never push Eduardo to be an actor if he didn't want to. Never, because acting is very difficult. This is a very difficult business to be in, and if you're really not sure that this is really what you want to do in your life, you can't cope with it. It's impossible.
Next up, Richard Burton on acting with his daughter.
The very first day was a highly dramatic scene, and when Kate turned towards me, we have a vaguely similar bone structure, but our eyes are almost exactly alike, and it was like looking into one's own eyes. And I was absolutely shaking. I literally shook.
And ABC's Kathleen Sullivan on whether anchoring Olympic coverage presents a research challenge.
The only difference is that where I read 5 periodicals a day in news, I can finally read the sports section and not have to take it into the bathroom.
Just ahead and all new on entertainment this week, the Go-Go's survive a year of personal and professional problems and get going again.
We're still together, and that's what counts.
Rex Harrison explains why actors want to play the good guy.
An awful lot of actors like to be loved.
And Barbie Benton explains what everybody wants after a day of the good life in Aspen.
They are ready for some serious champagne.
All just ahead, all new on entertainment this week.
Remember the first time he saw you, because Oil of Olay helps replenish precious fluids, greaselessly easing dryness and softening the signs of time.
First time ever I saw your face.
Oil of Olay, it can help you look younger too.
When I think how much smarter we are today about what we eat, the foods my kids are growing up on, I love it. Leaner, less fat, good changes. Like Louis Rich cold cuts, up to 95% fat-free, because they're made with turkey. Why not? It's the naturally lean meat. Louis Rich has done it. A whole line of great-tasting, lean cold cuts. What a good idea for today.
Louis Rich has what you want today.
My husband notices every part of a woman's appearance, mine or anyone else's, and he noticed that Dove made my skin feel softer.
We asked women across America to give up their ordinary soap and take the Dove 7-day test.
My soap was drying my face, and I didn't realize it. It feels much softer and creamier with Dove.
Dove is 1/4 moisturizing cream. It can give you softer, smoother skin in 7 days.
After using Dove for 7 days, my skin feels soft, very soft, like a baby's skin.
For softer, smoother skin, switch to Dove.
Maxwell House decaffeinated, Maxwell House delicious.
Can I get some coffee?
You know, more and more of our friends are coming back to coffee after dinner.
Where did you find him?
Because now there's a new decaf with the great taste of Maxwell House.
Full, rich flavor like Maxwell House has got. Good to the last, decaffeinated drop.
What a night. Thanks for not doing the rabbit trick.
Maxwell House decaffeinated, Maxwell House delicious.
The story of the week, of course, has been the Olympics. One of those people bringing us that story is ABC's Monday Night Football veteran, Frank Gifford. Our Olympics correspondent, Bruce Jenner, has more on the man Howard Cosell calls the quiet one, the GIF.
For the 1984 Olympics, ABC is fielding a team of more than 50 reporters, commentators, and announcers.
The man they picked to co-anchor the Olympic daytime coverage is familiar to most TV viewers for his work on Monday nights alongside Howard Cosell.
The man who'll tell you about the Redskins, Frank Gifford.
Thank you, Howard. Sir, if I'm enduring, you are everlasting.
Frank Gifford was an All-American football player at USC who graduated into becoming an All-Pro for the New York Giants. Now he's a veteran sportscaster covering his 6th Olympiad.
The Americans, of course, are coming off an impressive 83-55 win over Yugoslavia yesterday. And we're going
The Olympics are a challenge in every respect. We have 309 cameras that are going to be floating around the Southern California area. And at some point, they're going to be busy. 8 zillion miles of wires, satellites all over the place, more toys than you can possibly imagine.
One of his first assignments for ABC Sports was to cover the 1972 Olympics.
I remember in Munich, I got a call late in the afternoon to go over and cover the field hockey game between Pakistan and India. I'd never seen a field hockey game, and it was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I mean, they really got it on. That place was sold out. And sold out, I mean, people were standing on their shoulders, and that is really the national sport, India and Pakistan. And they'll probably meet again for the gold medal. And I wouldn't want to miss it this time.
In spite of the constant political shadows, Gifford says there's a real payoff to each new Olympiad, watching a new international star emerge from the competition.
You've never heard of anyone named Olga Korbut or Nadia Comaneci, and all of a sudden there they are, Sugar Ray Leonard. They come out of nowhere, and they come into a tremendous spotlight, and they're young and they develop so quickly that in just a matter of weeks and months, all of a sudden they're a different personality, a different athlete altogether. And the culmination at the Olympics, it really is something special to behold.
Jill St. John describes her home, Aspen, Colorado, as a small college town. Well, if that's the case, then one of Hollywood's playgrounds has some student body.
Extra strength Tylenol. That's an amazing product.
Extra strength Tylenol. You can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
Joan? What's wrong?
I was just thinking how great everything is. My life, you and the kids. I want it to last.
I'll make us some coffee.
Times like these are made for taster's choice.
The best tasting coffee is the freshest tasting coffee. And every cup of Taster's Choice decaffeinated is fresh because it's freeze-dried fresh. Taster's Choice. Fresh taste for your choice coffee times.
In our celebrity file this week, Grace Jones told us that she notices an air of trepidation from fans when she's performing live. Well, we asked her if she gets the same reaction from friends.
No, my friends, that's a whole other thing. These are people that know all the sweet sides. They know the down-to-earth me. They know the me that giggles, laughs, has a lot of fun.
Tom Selleck has been having a lot of fun on the volleyball court of all places. Besides the good exercise he's getting and fulfilling his duties as spokesman for the U.S. Olympic volleyball team, Selleck sees another benefit from the sport.
As work has become more filled with nonsense, this has been there, and it's great for me. It keeps me normal. Like I'm not playing too well right now, and I'm sitting on the bench a little more. So that's good for me, you know. And they don't care whether I'm in a TV show or not.
Kate Capshaw, who co-stars with Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones and who'll be seen in 3 other movies by year's end, always believed in herself, but she...
Shy you were, and really bordering on being paranoid, locking yourself away.
Well, you know, I was a little nuts back then. When that hurricane of success hits you, you can't really predict how it's going to affect a person, because it really did hit like an explosion for me. When Mandy came out, I had been working as Bette Midler's music director for a long time, and I had been schlepping around New York City as a piano player and as an arranger. And I was getting ready for a very comfortable life in the background. Anyway, when the explosion happened, I just lost it. Thank goodness I didn't go onto drugs, because I can understand how people can do that. You know, you really, it's a very, very difficult position to be in, and there's a lot of pressure. So I think it manifested itself in me in being a little eccentric.
You mean by locking yourself away and not seeing people?
Oh yeah, I think I was nasty to people. I think I was scared and shy, I think. And the combination of the two made me do some really naughty things.
What was the turning point for you?
One day I just woke up and I was a little more secure. I didn't doubt it as much. All of a sudden I believed it. I didn't believe that it would last forever, but I believed that this job was this was a real job. This was for real. This was not luck. I mean, after 5 hit records, after 10 hit records, I mean, you can just attribute so much to luck. Mm-hmm. And it was a job, and I was watching people enjoy what I did. And so suddenly it became a little less scary. I knew that what job I had to do. I think it switched over around 1980, and suddenly I believed that there was a career here for me.
You at one point in your career said that you really, really were at your strongest as an arranger, and that you wanted to grow up to be Nelson Riddle.
Yeah.
Has that changed?
No, I still think that that's one of my strong suits, arranging and piecing things together. I love the way my shows feel, and that's the most fun that I have, piecing together like a little jigsaw puzzle and to say, okay, I'm going to make the audience feel this right over here, and then I'm going to switch it around. That's the most fun. And I do the same thing with my music, and that's the most fun I have.
You know, when I read about you and talking to you now, it's all music.
Yeah.
What else is there to your life besides the music?
It's all music. Well, I have great friends. I do. I have great friends. I have a great business. I have a nice family. My mother's coming in, I told you.
Tell me again.